Hi guys, Phil here and welcome in a bit of a different setup. Mostly since today I'm making a really different review. Since today's review is sponsored. Kinda. By sponsored I mean the thing where a friend of mine buys something and before he wants it he simply sends it out for me to review it. And today's thing that I will review is something called Mermaid Melody E-Peach from Takara. But before I start, I just want to say I know absolutely nothing about Mermaid Melody. So please, any hyper fans that are somewhere out the world, don't lynch me. I'm doing it just for a friend. But to fill out the holes in my knowledge, I will use the help of the sponsor friend and a Tumblr blog that's linked. So, as I mentioned earlier, today's subject was a part of Takara's line of toy microphones called Ikara, being a pun on "it's alright" in Japanese, and the word electronic karaoke. The toy line ran from 2003 to 2004, and I mostly knew this design from its cameo in the Transformers Energon show, where the Catgirl sisters used them in the episode Intermission as actual microphones. Each of the mics came with a cartridge which contained around 10 songs, themed around different music themes and artists. There was also an American release of the microphones that was done by Hasbro. But today I will look at a special release which was themed around Mermaid Melody, which was a manga and anime series from the early 2000s. It talked about a romance story between a mermaid named Lucia and a kid named Kaito Damoto. Years before the start of the show, Lucia saved Kaito and fell in love with him. After 7 years, she comes back to the surface to meet with him again. But due to how different she looks as a human and due to the 7 years age gap, Kaito doesn't recognize her. And she simply can't say that she loves him due to plot contrivances. So now she needs to pull out a circus act of hoops so he will fall in love with her in her human form. Oh yeah, there's also some magical girl plot going on in the background, where Lucia needs to pull out a Sailor Moon and team up with 6 other mermaids to defeat evil ocean demons and stuff, with the power of a magical microphone and magical pearls. So, the combination of romance, action, and the main changes of Mermaid already being based on Ikara microphones, Takara felt the need to make Mermaid Melody a part of the toy line. So after that really elongated intro, we are finally in the box. The box is really big and colorful, with a nice palette of colors. My favorite bit of the box is that it can open up to this nice looking spread, which shows us some gameplay screenshots. In the box itself we have the instructions, warranty that's probably ages out of date, a pamphlet of other Ikara products, I think, the AV cables, a cartridge with the game, and the microphone itself. The microphone is cast in mostly white plastic for its handle, with many translucent blue parts that have glitter molded into it. I think my favorite bit is that the handle has a bunch of small beads in it, which rattle as you play with it. Other than that, the design is really simple. The only interesting design detail is the small seashell on the top of the mic and the water ripple-like design of the button plate. From what I see, this toy is really show accurate, with only difference being that the toy of course needs some descriptions for each of the buttons. Other than that, it's almost one-to-one to its anime counterpart. Even the cartridges themselves are technically kinda canon, since every time the characters get a new power in the show, they insert a glowing rectangle into the side of the mic. Also on a personal note, when I first opened it up, I thought that this toy was a massive spoon due to the shape and size. Like, come on, I can stir cabbage with this. Nah, are you crazy? Do you think I would really do that? This toy is fucking expensive. Talking about comparing this microphone with something else, here is a size comparison with the Kamen Rider built Drill Crusher and the earlier mentioned spoon. In the show, the microphones were the main weapon of the mermaids. They sang into them to cause pain to the water demons. So, when I got the toy, I expected it to be some sort of a roleplay item, with an optional karaoke mode. So little girls could sing around and then play around, pretending to transform into a fishwoman. So I was really surprised when the AV cables came out of the box. Yeah, today's video is technically a game review, a plug and play game review. The toy runs on 4 AAA batteries, but inserting them into the mic is really annoying due to the way that the springs and latches are constructed. But after dealing with all of that annoyances, let's plug in the Volume 1 cartridge and get into the game itself. So here we are on the title screen. It's really pretty and colorful, but we get our first issue, the language barrier. Sadly, as much as I tried with Duolingo, I still can't speak Japanese, especially kanji. That thing scares me. So I'm sorry if anyone here speaks Japanese and is satisfied with my gameplay. The first thing that also hit me is the music. Sadly, I know it's a technology limitation, but all the sounds are really crunchy and farty. At least it's good for me, since I won't get copyright striked for any of those crunched up songs. Now, in the game mode, the microphone buttons can be used as a controller. The central pink button is supposed to look like a pearl and has various uses. The select button is a larger, rounder button that is placed closer to the handle. The power and reset buttons are on the right. The 4 yellow face buttons control the key of the song, navigate through the menus and change the volume of the music. Did I tell you that Tumblr blog is a massive help writing this script? The blog also tells me that each cartridge has a different theme for gameplay and storyline, which is pretty cool. It makes every cartridge unique and adds to the collectability of the stories. The blog states that Takara released 7 different cartridges. The plot of the first cartridge is focused on a wishing ring. I don't know if it's connected in any way to the episode of the anime, but I don't know. After pressing start, we have 2 options. First one is the karaoke mode, which just gives us 4 different songs. So that was the karaoke mode. At the end of each song, it actually rates how well you managed to sing to the lyrics on screen. Sadly, I realized that only after I finished the recording of the gameplay, so you will always see me have 0 points every time. The second mode is some actual gameplay. The game starts and it's some visual novel stuff. I don't know what she's saying, so I'll focus on the visuals. And I don't know what she's saying, so I'll focus on the visuals. And I'd say it looks pretty good. The graphics are colorful, they are really nicely drawn, anime accurate. The only issue is that I'm displaying it on a modern TV, which stretches out all the pixels. Like I'm 100% sure I can count every one of them. After finishing the talk, we get thrown into an isometric room with some nice sprite work. We can walk around the room, organize items, pick up this plushie of some dude. And after pressing some buttons, we have the inventory. Oh, whoa, so it's like an adventure RPG game? Let's see, I have a necklace and some ribbons. Oh, there is some dress-up equipment screen. I can put them on or take them off. Oh shit, sorry, Mr. FBI, I didn't know that this type of content is in this game. Really, I didn't expect it to be. After walking out the room, we have a simple max screen, where we have a few different locations. First, we have a school where we meet some brown-haired girl. We talk with her, she shows me a really crusty animation of the transformation scene, and puts me then into the karaoke menu. And I still don't get it. After that we have the beach, and wow, some actual gameplay. In the beach minigame, we swim as Lucia collecting pearls and seashells while avoiding danger. It's really simple, but effective. After finishing the game, the collected items are put into our inventory. Next scene is us getting to see a little kid getting assaulted by some devil woman. She is a water demon, and a character that's exclusive to the Ikara toys. Yeah, she doesn't appear in any other media, which is kinda sad since she has a really nice design. So after mashing through some dialogue, we get another karaoke screen, which I think if I did her alright I would save the kid, but whoops. I yet again don't get what's happening. Next we have a mode strip, where sometimes we meet a new character for some dialogue options. One time when I played it, I managed to meet the hot surfer dude here. Next we have a store, where we can use the collected pearls to buy accessories and furniture for our house. Also we can use special codes that were added to other toys to get special furniture and stuff. Really interesting way of crossing over the collectability of toys and the game. Next place is a small forest, with yet another instance of gameplay. The same Lucia is tied to a balloon, and she floats around collecting apples, while trying to fight rotten apples and bees. Again, a simple arcadey type game. And our last place to visit is the kitchen, where you can make some food. But I don't know any recipes, so the only thing I managed to make is Grey Goop. To proceed with the plot of the game, you are supposed to circle around through these several locations, collecting stuff to decorate your room, as well as progressing the plot by battling the monsters with the power of the karaoke sections. But since I don't get anything from the plot, I decided to stop playing after the first circle. So that was my experience with the game. And I can say that I didn't really like it. Not because it was bad or anything. The main issue is the language barrier and the franchise barrier, since I know absolutely nothing about it. And I don't speak Japanese, so I can't get the full enjoyment out of the game. But my other issue for sure is the shape of the controller. Since all the buttons are so spread out, it's really hard to make any drastic movements during the gameplay sections. It's okay for like the karaoke controls or the walking around sections for the map or dialogue, but in action scenes it's awful. It makes your thumb like fly around the whole screen. I don't know, maybe they want me to play it like this? Also, I was constantly scared of bumping out the cartridge that's here, since as with many plug and play consoles, when the cartridges get a little bit tilted or bent, the game starts to really freak out. I don't know if I have the footage of it, but I promise that my first time playing it, the e-pitch was low on batteries and the cartridge wasn't fully inserted, so the game started to go like all glitchy, mixing up the sprites. Like really, that was some creepypasta material stuff. So yeah, that was as much gameplay as I can master out of this stuff with my language and franchise limits. I know absolutely nothing about Mermaid Melody. I got also the Volume 3 cartridge, but from what I know it's mostly the same thing with simply a new storyline and some new minigames with like a surfing penguin or something. So, in my final opinion, the microphone itself is really nice. I would for sure recommend it to a Mermaid Melody fan, Japanese plug-and-play games fan, a Simply Magical Girl fan, as some sort of a display item. I wouldn't recommend it as a toy, but it also wasn't designed to be a toy. It was supposed to be a karaoke microphone. And it does that job really well. It also does a really good job as a plug and play game. Since from what I noticed in my later playthroughs, the gameplay actually changes as you go around in circles around those places, with some new lore options and dialogue ones. So if I could beat the language barrier, maybe I would even make a full playthrough of one of the cartridges. So yeah, this is for sure a thing for Mermaid Melody fans. Of course, you can get them. Since, as I mentioned earlier, those toys are getting really pricey these days. Man, this video was complex. Maybe next time I will talk about video games. Maybe I will keep myself more into the toy stuff. So like, any of you would watch a video about Skylanders? Either way, thank you all for watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out my social media. And don't forget, for some reason, Mermaid Melody has a bunch of merch that's exclusive to Serbia. Who expected this dude to be the average consumer of this franchise? Damn. Hi. ナイロの風に吹かれた岬を目指した夜かけ前清けたそれは止めと懐かしい歌東の空へと羽ばたく鳥たち日待ち七つの海の老犬嵐の兄を伝れめ命がまて埋めある七つの国のメロディア誰もがいつきはここを旅つにが来ても私は忘れない雪量と雲は流れて人情果てに消えてた星たちは信じのように強い光放ち始める南の空から聞こる口笛そう大人になる時が来ていたそう奇跡を巡る冒険優しい葉の願いを胸に抱きながら誰もが旅をしてる星降る夜のファンタジア溢る涙と祈り誰にもわからない未来を照らしてる2番テクスト夏の海の老犬嵐の夜の後には愛を捨てらめ命がまた生まれる夏の国のメロディア誰もがいつきはここは旅立つ日が来ても私は忘れない奇跡は巡る冒険優しい葉の願いを胸に抱きながら誰もが旅をしてる星降る夜のファンタジア溢れる涙と祈り誰にもわからない未来を手にしてるI fucking suck ass singing in Japanese. 21 points. That's my record. So yeah, thank you, sponsor friend. That all was done for you. Hey, now thinking that there's actually some pretty good sound loop. Like, it sounds pretty well from my TV at least.